Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing my top tips for transitioning hair. If you guys didn't know, I am transitioning to natural after 17 years of being relaxed. I am currently 8 months post and I will be 9 months post in a week. Alright, so let's get started. I have a list of everything on my phone. So my first tip is stay away from heat. With transitioning hair, you have to be very careful with heat. I would suggest while on your journey to natural hair that you cut down on heat tremendously. With transitioning, now you have curls, now you have texture, and you really need to be careful with heat because if you use too much heat, you will end up with heat damage and you will lose your curls, and then you will end up having to restart your hair journey and transition from relaxed hair and heat damage. So definitely be mindful of that heat is not your best friend when you are transitioning. When I talk about heat, I'm talking about direct heat, like flat ironing, curling iron, stuff like that. You can use a blow dryer, you can use a steamer, a hooded dryer, stuff like that. But direct heat is not your best friend when you're transitioning. My next tip is to be patient. With transitioning hair, it's definitely not easy. Right now, things have been pretty good for me. I'm, like I said, 8 months post, so I've pretty much got over that hump of where things are really tough. I would say from month 1 to month 3, things were, really good. But from month 4 to month 6, that's where all hell broke loose. I couldn't detangle my hair, products weren't working, my hair wasn't cooperating, the two textures were just tangling up. So you definitely need to be patient. Once I hit the 6-month mark, things just turned around for me. Things went back to normal. Things were very easy. My hair was easy to detangle. Products were working. So being patient is key in transitioning. I know a lot of us get really frustrated with our transitioning hair, and that's why a lot of us end up big chopping. For me, I plan to be a long-term transitioner, so I definitely need to just relax and be very patient with my hair because I personally do not want to have short hair because I've had short hair my whole entire life. And I would love to keep my hair long because I do love long hair. So being patient is key to having a successful transition, whether it's long-term or short-term, whatever it is that you want to do. You really need to be patient with your hair. And with that being said, you need to be gentle. So not only do you need to be patient, you need to be gentle, or you will have breakage. So another tip that I can give transitioners is to deep condition with every wash. With deep conditioning, it makes your hair very soft, very moisturized. I feel like with deep conditioning, either with a steamer or with a hooded dryer or with a deep conditioning bonnet, it produces a lot of heat and it produces a lot of moisture for your hair. And I feel that throughout the week, I don't have to moisturize and seal my hair as much because deep conditioning has really made my hair really moisturized. So deep conditioning with every wash is a really great tip. That's what I personally do. I either use a steamer to help me deep condition or I use my bonnet. Alright, so another tip that I have is to moisturize and seal your hair very often. For me, for example, it really depends on what products I'm using, but for me, I moisturize and seal maybe every 3 days or so, something like that. It honestly depends on the weather, what products I used, how much of it I used. You really have to know your hair. So yeah, with that being said, the area that you really need to focus on with moisturizing and sealing is the line of demarcation, where the relaxed meets the natural. That area right there, you really want to make sure that area is moisturized and sealed. And also you want to keep your ends moisturized and sealed if you plan to long-term transition. If you don't plan on long-term transitioning and you don't moisturize and seal your ends, they're going to fall off and just, wither away. Alright, so another tip is to gradually cut off the relaxed ends, and I personally haven't really been doing that because I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing with my hair, if I was transitioning or not. But I have been cutting my hair. I cut off about, I want to say about 3 or 4 inches this year so far. I do plan to cut my hair again, but later on, I'm thinking December. The less hair you have, the easier it is to deal with your hair, the easier it is to transition. For me, I personally haven't had any problems with my hair being mid-back length and me transitioning. My relaxer has been doing so well. It's pretty much the line of demarcation that's the only area that sometimes gives trouble. But other than that, my relaxer hasn't been giving me a hard time. So yeah. Oh, so one of the biggest tips I can give you guys is to keep the new growth stretched. When I say new growth, I'm talking about the natural hair. The natural hair that's coming out of your head, the hair that has texture, the hair that has a curl pattern. That area, you really need to keep it stretched. For me personally, I keep that area stretched. I never deal with my hair unstretched. I don't style it unstretched. I don't do anything with it not being stretched. So for me, for example, before I style my hair, I make sure I blow out my roots using the tension method, which I'm going to do a video on, but I use the tension method to straighten out my roots. As you guys can see, there's hardly any texture in my hair because I blew out my roots. It makes things so much easier. It makes transitioning a breeze, makes styling so much easier, braid outs. I can do any style I want if my hair is stretched. If my hair isn't stretched, forget it. It's not gonna work. I attempted to do what did I try to do? Oh, a flexi rod set on wet transitioning hair. Biggest fail. My roots were so puffy and then my relaxed hair was just a stringy little thing. Alright, so another tip that I can give my transitioners is to avoid using small or fine teeth combs, or even a Denman brush. I would say stay away from those hair tools, small or fine tooth combs, and a Denman brush. I feel with transitioning hair, it's not as strong as fully relaxed or fully natural hair, because it has that line of demarcation where the relaxed meets the natural hair. That area is very, very weak, and any tug or pull on it, it will snap and break, even if it's moisturized. Especially washed hair, that hair is very weak. If you think relaxed hair is weak when it's wet, you got another thing coming for you. Alright, so my last tip to those who are transitioning is to remove shedded hairs. And when I say shedded hairs, I'm talking about those hairs that fall directly from the scalp. If you leave shedded hairs in your hair, they eventually tangle up, get caught, they start causing single strand knots, and they can cause breakage if you leave them in for a long period of time. For me personally, I finger detangle before I wash my hair. So I put my hair in about 4 sections and I just lightly run my fingers through, and then eventually I just pull my hair and then I get, a few strands and I throw them out. Now when I'm in the shower, I do it again. I lightly take a comb, white tooth comb, and I remove my shedded hairs. And also, as I'm moisturizing, sealing my hair, I again remove shedded hairs. I feel with shedded hairs, sometimes you can't get all of them, but you have to but you want to try your best to get most of them. Me, I'm always finding shedded hairs. We do lose about 50 to 100 strands a day, which is normal. Just keep that in mind and not to get worried when you see, hairs falling. So hopefully this video was very helpful. If you guys have any more questions or want me to do any more videos on transitioning hair, definitely let me know. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave all of that down below and I will talk to you guys later.